On today's show, the Ottawa Senators have officially announced the hiring of Linus Ullmark's mentor.
Plus, the hype for Sens prospect Lucas Beckman continues to grow.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. Today is Friday, May 29th, and Pillsy, the Senators announcing this morning the hiring of Maciej Szwoch, who has been with the organization really unofficially since Linus Ullmark went on the leave of absence, came with the team, was around them at practice, helping out with Linus Ullmark, and his official title now will be coordinator of goaltending, scouting, and development. Now, I already hear some people saying, well, what qualifications does he have? He just Linus Ullmark's buddy? Well, this guy's been a goalie coach for 20 years.
Which is very impressive considering he's 41. So he's really done this for a long time. And if you look at his EP page, goaltending coach in Sweden for a long time, notably Modo in the SHL, where him and Linus Ullmark worked together. And then also he's been a team consultant, European goaltending consultant for the Detroit Red Wings since 2015, 2016, and then goalie coach for 2 more years in the SHL the last couple of years as well. So he is very qualified, and interesting title, Ross, because his title is, like you said, coordinator of goaltending, scouting, and development. So initially I thought, okay, this guy's going to help the scouts draft goalies, like when we're looking at guys to pick as prospects. And then during dev camp, he's going to be around. But the Sens, according to their official report that they put out, article they put out, saying in his new role, he will work with all the goaltenders on the Senators roster. He'll be working with goaltenders in the NHL and AHL as well as younger prospects. So it does seem like he's going to be around the team quite a lot, which makes sense. I mean, I think the main reason you bring him in is because of the relationship and the comfort that Linus Ullmark has working with him.
Yes, and there's a few things I really like about this. Obviously, the no-brainer is the fact that you want your starting goaltender to be comfortable. We've seen this around the league where guys have their own goalie coach come in and end up getting a job with the team. I think it goes back to Sébastien Giguère did it, Henrik Lundqvist did it, other guys around the league. They want to be comfortable with who they know, and Justin Peters, still the official goaltending coach of the Ottawa Senators, but another voice in the room, another guy who has a ton of experience. And we talked about the national level that he's worked at, but he's also been a part of Team Sweden at different levels as well. So this guy has a wealth of experience as a goaltending coach. So I think that his experience and everything will be able to help the Ottawa Senators. And kind of cool too, like if you look at most recently 2 seasons ago with Farjestad in the SHL, he actually has coached a couple of guys who are pretty well known. Dennis Hildeby with the Toronto Maple Leafs now. He was on that team. And the legend from Team Italy at the Olympics, Damian Clara, who's a Anaheim Ducks prospect, 2nd-round pick. He was on that team too. So he's developed guys who have now gone on to make it to the National Hockey League or on the cusp of getting there. And I think it's just going to be another voice in the room. So I'm happy to see that the official designation is there and that they have a clear objective for him. This is what you're going to be a part of. You'll dip your toe into everything. Obviously, you'll be there to help the prospects come along as well. So there you go. Welcome to the organization, Maciej Szwoch. And if you want the official pronunciation, we reached out to the organization, and this is coming right from the horse's mouth.
The correct pronunciation is Maciej Szwoch. Maciej Szwoch.
Maciej Szwoch. Welcome to the Ottawa Senators organization officially. Looks sharp in the tracksuit, eh? They got the pickup on the Ottawa Senators website. He looks like he's ready to rock and roll. And I mean, like you said, this guy became a goalie coach at 20 years old. So that's awesome. I'm looking forward to it. There was an interview that In Goal Magazine did with him a couple of years ago. I'm looking forward to, I got to do the lawn later, Pillsy. I'm going to throw that interview on and see if I can get into the mind of Maciej Szwoch and see what he's all about. Because I think that we talked for a long time about how Ottawa's front office, their development staff, everything was a little bit bare bones back in the day under previous ownership. So I'm not at all worried about too many cooks in the kitchen. I think we need more cooks to make the food taste better. You know what I mean? So let's keep it rolling.
Ross, to continue with your analogy, we need cooks that specialize in the proper cuisine, right?
We need the guy on the grill. We need the guy doing the salads.
Well,
we need the dessert guy to just be ready to rock.
More specific, Ross, like if you got a Chinese restaurant, you're not going to hire someone that specializes in making Mexican food. Like we got Linus Ullmark here. Let's get a guy that specializes in working with them.
And meatballs.
Yes, Swedish meatballs. So I think this is a good move. And yeah, I think maybe some people have the mindset like, oh, goalies are so finicky mentally. Like, do you really want to get more voices, more opinions, more, not issues, but more things that just can like muddy the water? But if you look at it, a lot of NHL teams have like a full staff related just to goaltending now. Like the Florida Panthers, I think they have multiple guys. Roberto Luongo is a part of that. So for a team that struggled with goaltending last season, you want to make sure you set this up right. And even regardless, Ross, like you mentioned, even if he didn't have the ties to Linus Ullmark, this is a great hire.
And you look at between that and Zach Burke being replaced into a scouting role with the organization, I just think now you're building out your team off the ice, and that's going to help them ultimately for what they're going to accomplish on the ice. So some good news this morning. The press release doesn't have any quotes from anyone, just explains what his role will be with the team. So we love to see that. And one of the guys he's going to work with, Pillsy, Lucas Beckman, huge game tonight at the Memorial Cup. It's win or go home. Your season is on the line. It's the Chicoutimi Sags taking on the Everett Silvertips. The winner will go on to play against the Kitchener Rangers in the final. So cannot wait for that to take place. And I mean, the Memorial Cup final is going to be all time, but tonight for Lucas Beckman, they want to bounce back after their loss to Kitchener, and they want another crack at them again in the final.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this has been a great Mem Cup to follow. Typically, I just dabble in it, follow along from afar. But with how many Sens prospects there are, 3 of them, especially 2 of them being on the Rangers, a team that's already waiting in the finals, and then a chance for our shining star goalie prospect to meet them in the finals. This year, I've been a little bit more into it, and it's been fun to follow along for sure.
And one of our friends, Scott Wheeler from The Athletic, is at the Memorial Cup. He got a great interview, not only with Lucas Beckman, but with Senators top scout Don Boyd. Some great quotes about Beckman in an article. We'll discuss that piece on the other side before getting back to our NHL draft rankings. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at 5 Hour Energy. If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it is to find that perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why the Fruity Rainbow 5 Hour Energy Shot brings that nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. Fruity Rainbow 5 Hour Energy Shots treat your taste buds to an explosion of fruity flavor with a tasty caffeine kick. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. It's a zero sugar treat that's sweet tooth approved. And best part is, so convenient. They're so small. You can put it in your pocket. You can put it in your bag or backpack on the way to school or work, when you're on the bus, when you're in your car, on your commute. It's perfect for whenever you need a little pick-me-up. And it's become my go-to when I want something sweet without going overboard. So get candy-flavored chaos with Fruity Rainbow 5 Hour Energy Shots. Available online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon.
Thank you for making Locked On Senators your first listen each and every day, helping the Locked On Podcast Network become the #1 sports podcast network. All right, Pillsy, it's a goalie-friendly show, goalie-friendly episode, as we're talking about a new member of the organization, as well as one that is making noise. Lucas Beckman. I feel like we've done his stats, we've done all of what he's accomplished, but the mindset behind it, very interesting. And Scott Wheeler's article that you can check out at The Athletic, it goes pretty deep into the confidence, where it came from, and what this guy's goals are in his career.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Lucas Beckman said, I love the confidence here. Not only does he obviously want to win a QMJHL championship, already done that, obviously wants a Mem Cup possible here, but he went as far to say he wants to be a Hall of Famer in the NHL. I mean, that's a great goal to have, Ross. And that's the kind of confidence you want in a young goalie. Like, he's not going to settle for, I want to have a good career, make a good living, hopefully have some good experiences along the way. No, this guy is driven to be the best he can possibly be right now and for a long-term future. I love hearing this. And, some people maybe can be like, oh, I don't love the cockiness or that kind of air of arrogance, but it's important to have goals and to try to reach them. And there is no bigger goal than the Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, that obviously you want to win cups and gold medals, but ultimately as an individual, that's the pinnacle.
And I think what really fires me up is when you think back, like, who's the most confident goalie the Sens have ever had?
Ray Emery,
who played Stanley Cup final games for the Ottawa Senators.
Yep.
You have to be cocky if you're a
have
goaltender. You're alone. You're just back there. It's all you. Yeah, your
Yep.
teammates can help you out. You can help them out in certain ways. Beckman doing a ton of that. What's he got? 8 assists in the playoffs right now? So he can
Yeah.
snap it around too. But Pillsy, I love this quote, and it's just such a goalie quote. I grew up as an only child with no pets. I was lonely.
Such
Okay.
a goalie.
So go play sports and go stand by yourself over there.
Yeah, not like I want to be a centerman and have 2 line mates and be on the bench with the boys. No, I want to be at the lonely end of the rink, as the Tragically Hip say.
And he told Scott Wheeler, I was able to dominate the QMJHL. And at the end of the day, I won the championship. So I'd say I did that. This guy, I can't wait to have him on this summer. I'm so fired up to just get into this kid's mind. He's like big into fashion, big into art. Like this,
Yep.
He might be the most interesting guy in the organization. Like he is, even like his art shines through. He's got a very unique setup in terms
Big
of the
time.
design on his pads. You can tell that every movement in his crease is well thought out. He's very I think secure in the way that he knows he wants to play. And that to me is like, yeah, you can have all the tools, which he does. He moves unbelievably well in net. He's compact, he's fast, he's aggressive, he's agile. But if you don't have that between the ears like he does, I don't think you're going to have the same amount of success as you can. The other guy who I'd say was that cocky and that confident with the Senators coming up as a prospect, Robin Leonard. Hell of a career too. Played in the Stanley Cup final, didn't he? If I'm not mistaken. Was that the sword through Fleury's back?
I think he was on the team, but I don't know if he played.
I think he played in the conference final that felt like a cup final because it was East versus West. It was the Montreal versus
And then
Vegas.
isn't that where Aiden Hill stepped in?
No, I think Aiden Hill was afterwards.
Mm.
Maybe though. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. But I don't think I'm wrong about Lucas Beckman. I think this kid is the real deal.
And Ross, you mentioned it. You've been saying this. A goal for him coming up is to be the starter for Team Canada in the World Juniors. And he's mentioned that that's a goal for him. So I think he's checking a lot of boxes of goals and things he wants to put on his resume when his career is said and done for. So yeah, very exciting. And I've been saying it, Ross, I want to see the factory that used to be French Canadians being elite world-class goaltenders. I want to see that revived, and hopefully Lucas Beckman can lead the charge.
So we're thinking Jacques Plante, Martin Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, Roberto Luongo, Lucas Beckman.
Why not?
Guess that's what I'm saying, Pillsy.
Yeah, why not?
I love it. And hey, he wouldn't be the first Hall of Famer in his family if he ends up becoming one.
Yes.
His dad is the second ever inductee into the Ultimate Frisbee Canada Hall of Fame. Love to see it. That's
Massive.
actually where his parents met, playing the highest level of Ultimate Frisbee. So many good little nuggets in this article. Highly recommend you go check that out. Scott's going to join us in the next couple of weeks here for our full first round mock draft. The ball has gotten rolling. 8 picks have already been made behind the scenes. We cannot wait for our fourth annual, fifth? I think 2022 was our first one.
Yeah.
That would mean this is our 5th annual full first round mock draft. So stay tuned for that. But you know what really makes the mock draft click? When you know more about the prospects, which is why we do our prospect profile countdown. We got 54 all the way to 52 today. I've got a new high guy. I got a new guy coming in at the top of my list so far, and we're fired up to share that with you next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, your team every day.
Hello, I'm JD Young of Locked On Sharks, and as a father, I want to make sure that my kids will be protected in case the unimaginable happens. When my wife and I sat down to discuss life insurance, we found that Ethos was our best option. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. Get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You get up to $3 million in coverage with some policies as low as $30 a month. And you know you're going to get the lowest rate from their network of trusted carriers. So take 10 minutes to get covered today with life insurance through Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/lockedonNHL. That's ethos.com/lockedonNHL. Applications times vary. Rates may vary.
All right, Pelsy, before we get back to our NHL Draft Prospect Profiles, I do want one more note here from Lucas Beckman, and we're not going to hold it against him that he grew up a Habs fan, born and raised in the city of Montreal. I feel like a lot of the prospects and players we talk to, it's like they're from Verdun, they're from Laval, they're from around Montreal. This guy's a Plateau Mount Royal kid, right in the city. And you look at him growing up idolizing Carey Price. He says that he loved the swagger that Carey Price plays with, and he swears it's infectious for his teammates. And I believe that. I think when you have a goalie and you know he's kicking him out, you have all the confidence in the world to make that pinch at the far blue line. And if it comes back, you know that he's got your back. So I think there's an argument to be made that he might be the Sens' number 2 prospect right now behind Carter Yakimchuk.
Yeah, I don't think it's that crazy. Yeah, nothing gives a team more confidence than a goalie that's elite and in the zone. Nothing.
It's just interesting when you say that, because like he was their 3rd pick in last year's draft.
Yep.
Yeah. They took Logan Hensler, then they took Blake Vanek, and then they took Lucas Beckman. Now, they took Beckman 4 picks after they took Blake Vanek, so maybe it was as easy as knowing that Dallas, San Jose, and Washington weren't going to take a goalie. So they're like, hey, let's get our forward now and then go with the goalie with our next pick. But you're the 3rd pick in a draft that hasn't even been a year ago, and we're already talking about you being higher than that in terms of the overall prospect pool for the Ottawa Senators. So what a come up for Lucas Beckman, and we hope it continues not only tonight, but going forward, and that he can help the Ottawa Senators in the future. All right, Pilsy, it's time, buddy. We're fired up about this one. Coming in at number 48 on our Locked On Senators NHL Draft Rankings, we are going to Des Moines, Iowa. The first time we've ever covered a prospect playing for the Buccaneers of the USHL. It's Blake Zielinski.
Yeah, Zielinski had a really nice season there, Ross. In 53 games, 25 goals, 30 assists, 55 points, so above a point per game pace. 33 PIMs, was a +9. He also had the opportunity to play 3 playoff games where he scored 2 goals. He's committed to Providence College, not next year, but the year after, 2027, 2028. But where Zielinski really shined and where scouts got a good look at the skill that he can have, how about 9 points in 5 games at the Hlinka Gretzky Cup? I mean, just putting up big points in a big way.
And that's the tournament before the season. So that means that it was kind of kicking off for him. Like, what kind of year are you going to have? He ended up playing 3 games at the USN TDP as well, was -3, didn't go his way. Gunn ends up saying, hey, I think the USHL is the play for me here, as that was actually with the prospect, or no, it was the prospect challenge there. So he played 3 games with them against the Canadian juniors this year. They won all 3 games, but he didn't do a whole heck of a lot. Goes back to the USHL, and from that point forward, he was unbelievable. He comes back from that 3-game set internationally, if you want to call it. It is international. They were in the international jerseys. He had 6 goals and an assist in his next 4 games. And he just took that and ran with it for the rest of the season. And what's really interesting about this 6 foot, 187 pound winger center, can play both, March birthday, is that he's barely ranked among our scouts, but we are using this as a pet project for us. Usually we need like 2 or 3 at the very least out of our 7 scouts to rank you. This only has 1. The prospect Don has him at 49 on his rankings. Now he is an honorable mention for Scott Wheeler, just outside of his top 64, but I don't get it. Like, I'm reading the elite prospect scouting reports. I'm looking at the tape, and this guy's skills just seem so translatable to being an NHL player. Every elite prospect scouting report, they're like, he might get in trouble when he tries to go one-on-one too much and dangle, but his vision's good. He's got great habits defensively. He backtracks well. He's strong on the puck in the corner. Like, I just think that this guy, in terms of the players that we've covered in this range, I think his certainty to make it to the NHL is a bit higher than a lot of the guys that we've covered.
Yeah, Ross, I'm very surprised that we only have 1 ranking from him. And then next closest thing is just an honorable mention from Blake Wheeler, because Blake Zielinski, from what I saw.
I like that. You called Scott Wheeler Blake.
Oh, sorry.
Shout out Blake Wheeler.
Yeah, Blake. Yeah, okay. There was the slip up there. Scott Wheeler, Blake Zielinski. From what I saw, he's got nice skills. He's got a wrister that he can score from a far range. He's got good handles that help him protect the puck. Good vision. I was seeing him make lots of really nice passes, setting teammates up, and even had a couple times in the shootout and on breakaways where he was making moves, and he was able to do that kind of wide cross crease move where he then tucks a past a sprawling goalie. So he's got a bunch of different ways that he can create offense. And clearly, when we talk about him being a point per game guy in the USHL, and then much more than a point per game guy in the Hlinka Gretzky Cup. So I see good offensive potential with Zielinski, and I can see him being a middle 6 winger that gets some second power play unit time as he moves forward here in his development.
And despite not being ranked on any of our scouts, usually the top 64, a few guys have longer lists than that. Like, I think this guy's going to find a way to sneak into the end of the second round. Like, I just think a team's going to be like, hey, we want certainty here. We don't need a top 6 score. We're not looking for the highest ceiling. And if you are, you're probably not going to take Blake Zielinski, even though I do think there is some room to grow for him offensively and become a guy who can produce maybe at the American Hockey League level. But I think if he's going to get to the NHL, it's going to be a bottom 6 role. How are you going to make the most of that? Are you going to be a strong penalty killer? What are you going to hang your hat on that a coach can say, every time I know Zielinski's out there, I know we're not going to give up a whole lot. I know that we're going to be able to be out of our zone in 2 passes, bang, bang, and away you go. I just think that if he can somehow next season add a little bit of offensive pop to his game, and we're not sure where he's going to play yet. He's committed to Providence College for the 2027 season as it stands right now. I think that this is the year then, if he's going to be an older
How much
player.
offensive pop do you need, Ross? 55 points in 53 games.
Yeah, like that's good, but it's nowhere near the league lead. I think this guy could, as a 19-year-old in the USHL, I think we could be looking at him as a guy who's among the league leaders. Like, he finished, he was tied for 21st in league scoring this year.
But I believe he was second on his team, right?
Yeah, not the best team.
Yeah, so we'll see if he. I think he's going to stay in the USHL though.
Yeah, although the guy who finished first on his team was 5th in the league, so maybe we can get him up to that point.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, and also it seems like he really popped off at the end of the year, like you mentioned, when he came back from that little 3-game stint with the NTDP. Like, looking at David St. Louis' scouting reports for him, Blake Zielinski continues to take over shifts. Blake Zielinski looks like a transformed player late in the season. He's more physically engaged, playing at a higher pace and coming back on defense. Blake Zielinski flashed his skills here. Like, it really seems like he had a newfound confidence. So I think this is someone that, as we go forward here, and maybe there's a couple more rankings by our entities, Ross, I think we're going to see him show up on more people's boards.
Yes, and those late season pushes do go a long way. It's not just what's said, it's what you see developmentally through the season. So Blake Zielinski has an average ranking of 49 with just 1 ranking.
Yep.
But he comes in with an average rank of 49. He's 48th on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings. All right, coming in at number 47 on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings, it is Samu Alalori, a right shot defenseman out of Finland.
Yep, and not just a right shot defenseman, Ross, a right shot defenseman with some size, sitting at 6'3", 205 pounds in 40 games in the U20 league over in Finland with the Pelicans. He had 6 goals, 19 assists for 25 points. Only 4 PIMs, and it was a plus 19. And then obviously, like most prospects over in Europe, spent some time in other situations as well. In the U20 league, he had 1 assist in 4 playoff games. He had 4 points in 5 international U18 games with Finland, where he wore an A. And then also, he played a couple of U18 games with the Pelicans, where he had 5 points in 4 games. And then also the Hlinka Gretzky Cup, where he had 4 points in 5 games. And he has a path to North America. He's committed to the University of where, Ross, for 2027?
UMass.
Oh, UMass. Okay, I was going to say University of Massachusetts, but if you want to call it UMass, that's fine. But so far, he's showing that in his age group, he can dominate, putting up points, and then even playing above in the U20, he's able to have success as well with 25 points, 40 games, a plus 19.
He's bigger, stronger, and that's it, than his competition. I do think the skating needs a little bit of work. It would allow him to recover from some of the puck management mistakes that he is prone to make. But a big reason why he's making a few of those mistakes is because he gives you at the same time. This guy is aggressive offensively. He loves jumping into the rush. He loves being up there and making plays and trying to get involved offensively. And that can cost you at times, but at the same token, you want defensemen that are confident with the puck and off the puck when they're looking at getting offense. So he only turned 18 in May. He's one of the younger players in this draft class, premium position, a route to North America, a route where you can see him 2 years there, jump in and maybe play a year in the AHL, but then be right ready to go. And I think that him playing on the smaller ice is going to be really beneficial for him. Again, we don't know if it's going to be in North America this upcoming year or if he's going to go back for one more year in Finland before coming over and going to college. But I think if you're looking at the long-term outlook for this, if you're a team with a deep prospect pool and you want to add that premium position, I think this would be a great, great bet. Like, give me a San Jose second-round pick for Samu Alalori, because they need right shot defensemen. They need defensemen as a whole. They're stacked at forward. And I think that this is going to be a nice complementary piece. I don't know if the offense is going to pop a whole lot when he gets over to North America, but if he can round out his game a little bit more, he could be a bottom pair kind of defenseman that you're not worried about. Like, I mean, if you're confident playing this guy, 15, 16 minutes one day at the NHL level, it's probably a good pick at the end of the second round, late second round. Like, you look at the rankings from our scouts, this one, out of all the ones, this one's probably the closest top to bottom, where it's 40 for Pronman, 42 for Wheeler, 43 for McKean's, 46 at Elite Prospects, 55 for Craig Button. The prospect on is at 67, and he's not ranked for Steven Ellis in his top 64. So I just think that it's a nice prospect. He's not my favorite in terms of banging the table saying you need to draft this guy, but you can certainly see why he's going to go in the second round with the size and the offensive ability that he has. And you just hope that some coaching can iron out the kinks defensively.
Yeah, I'm not too excited about Alulori here, Ross. For me, he just seems like a very vanilla prospect. He's got good size. He logs heavy minutes, has skills, but nothing pops off the page for me. And Scott Wheeler said he lacks consistency. Some games he's impressed with him. Others, he's watching him give up the puck and not really play hard enough. Oddly enough, Ross, Wheeler said he reminds him of Logan Hensler in 2025. So that was an interesting comparable to make there. And I kind of see it like when we did our prospect profiles on Logan Hensler, I said very vanilla prospect that doesn't really pop off the page for me. So we'll see if he can develop his game a little bit more. I think coming to North America will do him good. I gave Alulori 3 stars, Ross. I don't think this is the type of prospect the Ottawa Senators need to be targeting. Now, as I'm saying that, I'm sure you can pencil him in as a Sens pick, but nice prospect. Doesn't do it for me.
GM hat on. Defenseman in this range. Axel Elofsson or Samu Alalori?
Elofsson, no question. Like Ross, I even have, and I know I was higher on him than you were, but I've got Gio Pantelis higher than him.
And how about Ethan McKenzie?
Probably similar, I guess. I'm trying to find my notes on McKenzie.
You loved him. He's the double overager. I've got him right below Jakub Vanacek and a little bit below Axel Elofsson in my my drafted list right now.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was very high on Ethan McKenzie. Yeah, I'm going Ethan McKenzie over him for sure.
Okay, well, Samu Alalori, still nice prospect, comes in with an average ranking of 48.83. Samu Alalori is 47th on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings. All right, coming in at number 46 on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings. We're sticking in our own backyard here in Ontario for this one, and it is from the North Bay Battalion. It's Ryder Cali.
Yes, Ryder Cali. Interesting player for sure from Penetanguishene, Ross. That's a tough one, but it's in my neck of the woods, so I'm able to nail that one. In 47 games, 16 goals, 20 assists for 36 points, 24 PIMs, finished a +2. He did get some playoff time with North Bay, 10 playoff games where he had 4 points. Also played U18 games with Canada where he had 1 assist. Unfortunately, you see that 47 games played. He did miss some time with an injury. I'm not sure what it was, to be honest. And then we talk about guys committed to colleges, Ross. This is an interesting one. Ryder Cali committed to Harvard in 2027, 2028.
Yes, and we know people don't typically go for a one and done at Harvard, but we'll see how this develops for him as he's already gotten his feet wet in a big way this season in the Ontario Hockey League. It was his rookie year. He did play 5 games last year, but actually played some junior A in his last season before that. So it's been a nice elevation year over year for Ryder Cali, who is one of the youngest players in this draft class, only 10 days before the cutoff where he would have been in next year's draft. Ryder Cali is the first prospect we've covered so far. We've gone from 75 to 46. This is the first guy where any of our scouts have him in the first round. McKeen's has him 31st on their rankings. Elite Prospects at 34. Scott Wheeler at 37. Corey Pronman at 42. Stephen Ellis at 54. Craig Button at 62. And the prospect on at 69. So the range is end of the first round to start of the third round among our scouts. It averages out to a nice clean 47, but I like this player, and I think he's the kind of player that teams are going to fall in love with, especially with that pro build at 6'2", 209.
Yeah, and I think as he gets more experience playing in the OHL, like you mentioned, he did have 5 games the season before this, but didn't get a lot, and then only 47. So he's only played, math guy, 52 OHL games. So you haven't got to view a lot of him in the levels you would want. But Ross, from the highlights I saw, he gets himself open. He finds rebounds and buries them. He's got a quick release with accuracy. He's a good playmaker. He was able to find teammates even with difficult passes. Like I saw him thread some backhand passes through defensemen and right on the tape for teammates. So you look at Ryder Cali, young, good size and strength. Obviously a smart guy. If he got accepted into Harvard, that's no easy thing to do for sure. But I don't see a lot of offensive upside with him. For me, I feel like he's going to be a solid bottom 6 role player. I give him 3.5 stars.
So doesn't have the same rattiness as the player I'm going to bring up, but think back to draft year. Not right now, but draft year. He's got a bit of Ridley Gregg in him. Like just a nice speed around the rink. He's always moving at a good pace, and he can play in the corner. He can play through transition. I think this is a really nice prospect. Now, would I take him at 32nd overall for the Ottawa Senators? Probably not. But I could see an argument of why you would think about it in the end of the first round because of the extra runway in terms of the age, in terms of him only finishing his first season, that's a lot to put on a guy moving into a new league. He showed that he can produce in that type of situation. I think that, let's be honest, the North Bay Battalion, not necessarily the class of the Ontario Hockey League, who's given a lot of responsibility on a team that isn't exceptional. And I thought he handled himself extremely well. He was in a bottom 6 role at the World Under-18s for Team Canada, +5 in 5 games, adding an assist, but showed that he can be responsible there. This is the type of player the Sens scouts like a guy who is very, let's say, projectable into the future, and a guy who is someone that coaches will fall in love with.
Ross, maybe this is silly, but the Harvard thing scares me a little.
Yeah, you don't like Harvard. You think he's the first guy from his town to ever go to Harvard?
From Petatangoshin, probably.
That's kind of cool.
And to no fault.
But you know he's going to be high on the Sens list, right?
Yes, yeah, I agree. This is the type of guy the Sens like and typically draft. Safe,
So say something nice about
guys. I already said a bunch of nice stuff about him. Let me talk about Harvard, Ross. I don't get to talk about Harvard very often in my everyday life. It doesn't come across my desk too much.
You didn't tell everyone that you refused your admission there?
I didn't apply. I felt George Brown College and College of Sports Media was more the Ivy League schools I wanted to be alumni.
More of a challenge for you, right?
Yeah. But I just worry, and I don't blame people for this, that he's going to want to be there 3 years, maybe even 4 years. Like you said, like nobody does one and done at Harvard. Because
it's like funny. We came here to play hockey. We didn't come here to play school, right? The old Cardell Jones tweet.
Yeah, but at Harvard, you go there to play school.
Yeah, that's
and you get a great education. And who knows how your hockey career works out after that. You've got something great on your resume and you can build on that. And again, I don't blame them, but it's just something. If you're a team like the Sens, you have a bad prospect pipeline. You can't really afford to take a first round pick that you got gifted back on a guy that might not even be interested in playing NHL hockey in 4 years. And at that time, your rights are over and he becomes a free agent.
No, dude, this isn't happening. Get out of here.
I'm not saying it is happening, Ross, but we've seen that route by Harvard people before.
He's a good Canadian boy. Fox. This guy, all he wants to do is play in the NHL in Ontario. Let's go. You think Ryder Cali?
Why isn't he playing in the OHL then?
Because he is.
No, but like, why doesn't he play his whole career there?
Maybe
his whole junior career there.
I don't know. The only reason I didn't go to Harvard is because I can't pronounce the state it's in. Like that's the only thing that held me back. Hey, they put on the admission. So where are we right now? I say it. They're like, yeah, you can't come here.
Boston, USA.
Yeah, it's actually not in Boston, Pillsy. It's in Cambridge.
Oh,
I think.
It's in Boston.
No, just across the Charles River from downtown Boston. It is in Cambridge. So
okay. Well, I visited Boston and I rode my bicycle there. So
right.
A bicycle ride from Boston, same thing.
I actually do like this player, though. He's the top-ranked player so far for me. And again, that's still in the 40s, right? We haven't covered first-round talent. I will convince myself this is a good pick if Ottawa takes him, though.
So will I, Ross. But it's
a forward.
I worry about it.
It's a projectable forward who you think will be able to play in the NHL. Could be a third-line guy. Kill penalties, and maybe there's some extra offense there. It's not like he didn't put up numbers.
Yeah, but we need to take a bigger swing here at 32 for the Sens. And again, I'm not saying
this would be a single.
Can't make that, maybe even a double, Ross. But I'm looking to set the feet down and really take a big swing with pick 32.
Stay tuned on Monday then, because one of the players we're going to cover is the ultimate boom or bust. But for Ryder Cali and his 36 points in 47 games in the Ontario Hockey League, he comes in with an average ranking of 47 on the dot. He's number 46 on our Locked On Senators NHL draft rankings. All right, Pills, any final thoughts heading into the weekend?
Big game tonight in the Eastern Conference Finals.
That's Carolina still going
Hurricanes. On? Yeah, it is. Much to the Vegas Golden Knights' dismay. They probably want to get things going as soon as possible. But, Ross, It all comes down to tonight. It's in Carolina, so we'll see if this can get finished and we have our Stanley Cup final set.
Yeah, well, based on our topic from yesterday's show, it feels like we already have our Stanley Cup final set. What lessons can the Sens learn from the Hurricanes and Golden Knights? You notice we didn't put the other team that is technically still alive.
I didn't even think about that, Ross. That's very funny, actually. Oops.
Yeah, whoopsies. Yeah, go Canes tonight. Let's go. Let's wrap this thing up. I'm ready for the Stanley Cup final. It's gonna be a hell of a final. I know some people are moaning about how, oh no, it's not the greatest markets and everybody hates Vegas. The quality of hockey we're about to see is going to be outstanding.
And honestly, for those people complaining, would you have been happy with the trilogy of Florida Edmonton? No, I'm way happier that it's different teams.
Or Montreal Vegas.
Oh,
Montreal Colorado.
Oh.
So here we go. Stanley Cup Finals continue. We'll chat with you on Monday. We've got a Sens Central Citizen already planned for you. And we got our NHL draft rankings continuing. And I mentioned Boomer Bust. The ultimate Boomer Bust is coming up on Monday's show. And Friday energy here, Pillsy. I didn't update the numbers here on the side. If you're watching on YouTube, today we did 50, or we like 2 days ago did 54 to 52.
Okay. Cool.
So just to put it in words, today we covered 48, 47, and 46 on our Locked On NHL draft rankings. We'll continue that going into where the Sens range is. Like we're there now. Like we're at the point where the Sens could take any of the players that we took today, and it wouldn't be considered a Tyler Boucher level reach.
Yeah, I mean, one of the prospects, Ryder Cali, was ranked 31st by one of our entities. So
there you go. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you for liking, watching, listening, and engaging with the show. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition of the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.